CRM. Okay, there are different licenses. Okay, if you take Salesforce license,
Yeah, okay.
so while registering with Salesforce, if you take Salesforce license, you will get all the CRM applications provided by Salesforce, marketing, call center, so like this, all these applications. So they will get. Okay, but if you take, suppose whatever the client, right, they don't need CRM based application. They want to build custom application. They don't want those CRM applications, whatever Salesforce providing. So in that situation, it's recommended to take a Force.com license. There is one more type of license, Force.com license. If they take that license, whatever the applications Salesforce providing, sales, marketing, call center, those applications they won't see. Okay, so
Okay.
only they will pay for the platform, whatever the platform Salesforce providing. So for that, they will pay the license, and they will use that platform to develop the custom applications. Okay, but if it is I mean, if the business type is CRM type, right? So it's recommended to take Salesforce license, because so whatever the application Salesforce providing, those applications built on Salesforce Force.com platform only. Okay, but really, if for one of the client, if you want to develop those applications, it take years, right? And the clients they don't want to spend that much of time. So that's why any business type is CRM type. So it's recommended to take Salesforce license, and the Salesforce license cost is more when compared to Force.com license. So for example, Salesforce.com example. Okay, it's not real cost. So suppose Salesforce platform. I mean, Salesforce license cost is $300, right? Same thing. If you take
Okay.
only Force.com license, you will get it for only $100. Okay.
Mm.
So whatever the applications Salesforce providing, for that, they are charging more amount when compared to platform. For platform, if you see, right, they are charging less amount. Whatever the applications Salesforce providing, CRM applications, sales, marketing, call center, for those applications they are charging more amount from the customers, because those applications are very powerful, and saves lot of customers time. Okay, so all these applications, the clients they want, they can develop those applications, but it take years, right? So they have to
Okay.
wait for 2 years, 3 years, right? So they can save that time. And again, so on top of these applications, what are the customizations they need? So on top of these applications, if they make, so it take a very less time, like 2 months, 3 months. If you see that in many companies, projects will be completed within 2 months, 3 months, like that.
Okay.
Some small projects. So that is the difference. You understood, right?
Yeah, understood.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody were able to see my screen, right? Okay, then. Today, yesterday we discussed what is Salesforce. Salesforce is a company by following cloud computing concept. They are providing two kind of services. One is software as a service and the platform as a service. Software as a service, whatever the applications, CRM applications, sales, marketing, call center, those applications they are providing as service. And so customers, right, clients, whenever they take license with Salesforce, those applications can be customized as per the client needs. So in that process, most of the requirements can be achieved with the point and click approach, right, without going for coding. And few requirements it's not possible to achieve with point and click approach. In those situations, so by using Force.com platform. So on that platform, we can use Apex, one of the programming language, and to develop the pages, we use Visual Force, similar to HTML, that language. So those things we use, and Salesforce they will give built-in database. Okay, built-in database with the license itself. They will give server space, built-in database, everything will be provided. Okay, so all those things we have to understand. And again, one more thing. So Salesforce every year, right? Every year, Salesforce they release three versions. Okay, winter, spring, summer. Okay, so every year, so without fail, right? Every year they release these versions. So was winter 16 already over. Now if you see that spring 16 version is going on. Spring 16 version is going on, and after so I think 1 month, after 1 month they release summer. So every 4 months, right, they release these versions, and in these versions they will introduce, they will provide new features, right? So programmatic features, and point and click features. So they introduce new features. Okay, so this one we have to understand. So, if you are working for Salesforce, you should know. So what are the versions they are releasing? Right, now Spring 16 version is going on. Right, and these things, whenever they release these new versions, these versions will be automatically updated. Right. Suppose today we are using, and tomorrow you go to office and open, right? You can see that updated version. Right? Automatically, Salesforce will take care of updating all these things. Okay, so that one we have to understand. Now, in today's class, we understood what are the services Salesforce providing, all those things, right? But now, suppose you got the job, and after that, so what is the environment? What is the process we have to follow to develop the Salesforce applications, right? So that one I will explain today. Okay. Um, so for this, I'll take few examples. For example, assume that you are working in one of the company Wipro. Okay, suppose you joined in one of the company Wipro. Okay. Um, so this, in this Wipro company, suppose one of the project is going on. Suppose Coca-Cola. So that project is going on, right? So how this Wipro company they get that project, right? So first of all, Coca-Cola company, they want to develop their application for their business. So that application type is CRM application. Okay, to develop their CRM application, right? So they do a lot of research, and they found that Salesforce is proper one in market. Salesforce is in booming position, right? So suppose they opted Salesforce to implement their CRM application. Okay, so then they invite different companies, right? Since Coca-Cola company, they won't maintain any IT employees, right? Who can develop Salesforce application. So since they don't have any employees, they will invite for bidding, right? They will, suppose Coca-Cola company, they are having 20 requirements, so they invite service-based companies. In market there are many service-based companies, right? Wipro, TCS, um, so Infosys. So we have many service-based companies. So they will invite all those companies, and so they give their requirements. So these companies they will provide. They will say like they can complete in 3 months, 6 months, and price. So how much they charge. So based on those factors, so Coca-Cola company they will give that project to any one of this company. Suppose assume that Coca-Cola, so that company, right, to develop Salesforce application, they approached Wipro. Okay, Wipro is a software-based company. You understood, right? I mean a service-based company. So this Wipro company, right? So again from Salesforce, who has to take the license? Coca-Cola. So that company will take the license, right? So whenever this Coca-Cola company, if they register with Salesforce, right, by doing some research, right, what are the prices they are charging, So based on the number of employees, suppose Coca-Cola, they are having um, um, 3,000 employees, right? They are going to use that CRM application, whatever they are giving to develop. Okay, so for 3,000 users, so whatever the license they need, so based on that, they will take license from Salesforce. Okay, so whenever they register with Salesforce, right, they will get one environment called production. Production means live application, live environment. Right, whenever they register, immediately they get applications, sales, marketing, call center. So all those applications will be there in this production. Coca-Cola company production environment. For Coca-Cola company, they will Salesforce. They will provide one environment, that is production environment. They will provide. Okay, so production means live application will be consumed from this environment. Right, all the transactions, all 3,000 users will log into this environment and work. So such kind of environment we can call as production environment. Okay. So from their side, they get license, and so they have production environment, and they are approaching Wipro, one of the company, to develop the Salesforce application. I mean, already applications are there, sales, marketing, call center, but so they need to customize those application. I mean, those applications as per their requirements. They have around 20 requirements for that, and they gave that project to Wipro. Okay, so now from Wipro company side, right? So for this Coca-Cola project, they will, I mean, they will assign some team, maybe team like manager. Okay, they will assign manager, suppose a team lead, and suppose they are tagging around 4 employees. Okay, senior developers, junior developers. So there is a team of suppose overall 6 members, they are assigned for this Coca-Cola company. Okay, so now from Wipro company side, right, they should have access to that production environment, right, to see what are the applications available, and to work uh, to work for the Coca-Cola company requirements, right. So now from Coca-Cola company, right, they won't provide access to all the users of this Wipro employees. There are around 6 Wipro employees, they are going to work for that project, right. So they won't give access to for all these 6 employees. Okay, instead of giving access to these 6 employees, they give access to only one of the employee, because right, so license cost is a bit high for the production environment, right. 3,000 users, their estimation is 3,000 users, they are going to use Philips application. Suppose they started using the application, right. So whatever the basic application is available, so they started using that application, but so in next 6 months or next 9 months, they need some enhancements. For that, they gave that project to Wipro. Okay, so all those 3,000 employees, they are using the that real time application, but so for the 6 users, again, if they want to give access, right, again, for 6 users they have to take license, and again license cost is high, right. So that's why what they will do, right, they give access to only one user from Wipro. Okay, in general, I mean, if the client is sound, they will give access, but in general, in most of the projects, so from that Coca-Cola some company side, they give access to one user from Wipro. Okay, for manager or team lead. So that person, that team lead, so team lead got access from Wipro. Okay, so that person, he will log into that Coca-Cola company production environment of that Salesforce instance, right. So they log in, and after that, in that production environment, Philips employees, they started using the application, right. Directly for these 20 requirements, if they make changes in that production environment, that means live environment, live application is happening, real time transactions, everything will happen in that environment, directly in that environment. So if you develop these requirements, there is a possibility of getting many exceptions, because at the time of development we do a lot of mistakes, right, and again, so data, I mean, we have to create some test data, how it is working, all those things. but real-time data will be disturbed due to our sample data, and so for this testing, all these things. So due to those factors, right, if you take any technology in production directly, we should not make any changes. So in Salesforce also directly, since this team lead log into that production, but he don't make any changes in that production environment, because live transactions are happening in production. So what he will do, right? So Salesforce, they are providing one option called Sandboxes, right? So this team lead, he will log into that production environment of Salesforce. I mean Coca-Cola. Okay, so there you will find one option called Sandboxes. There you can see the user interface, right? So somewhere one of the link he can find Sandboxes. By clicking on that Sandboxes, right, you can create a test environment. Sandbox means nothing but test environment. Okay, so since in real time environment they should not make changes to achieve those 20 requirements. So what they will do, right? They can create the sandboxes. Okay, so there are, while creating the sandbox, he can find different types of sandboxes. Okay, so he will see different. He has to select which type of sandbox you want to create. Okay, so one of the type is a developer sandbox, developer pro sandbox, right? Developer pro sandbox, partial data sandbox, right? All these things, right? In certification questions, so somewhere you will find, right? From here, so you have to remember all these things. Okay, um, developer environment, developer pro environment, partial data type of sandbox, and the full copy sandbox. There are different types. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, so these are the types. Okay, so that person, so he's creating a sandbox. He has to select one of this type. Okay, so by selecting one of this type of sandbox, he can create a sandbox. And again, while creating the sandbox, right? While creating the sandboxes, so he has to give the name. Okay, so what is the name of that sandbox? Because we can create multiple test environments. Sandbox means nothing but a test environment. Okay, so we have to, I mean, based on the projects, we have to create multiple test environments, right? So one is for testing, one is for development, one is for training, right? For different purpose we have to create different test environments, right? That is the reason whenever we create any sandbox, it will ask for the name. So what is the name of the sandbox? Whatever the sandbox you are going to create, what is the name you want to give, right? So in general, names will be, right. Sandbox names will be like this: div, right? Um, QA, div one, div two, okay. Config, UAT, stage. I mean, in general, these are the names you will see, right? Because they won't give big names for the sandboxes. The reason I will tell you. Okay, so parallel to production environment, you will see sandbox credentials, right? So your real username dot the sandbox name you have to give before logging into sandbox. So that is the reason if you give big one, it's difficult to remember that username and all these things. It will become very big. So that's why in general, so they give names like this: dev, dev one, dev two, QA, UAT, stays, config. So I mean, that is your wish. You can give any name, but in general, you will see the names like this. Okay. Suppose from this Wipro company side, this team lead, since they have to start with the development. So this person, he created one of the sandbox with the name Div. Okay. So now Wipro company, so they have one sandbox, Div sandbox. Okay, so in this dev sandbox, so whatever the production 3000 users are there, all those users also you can see in this sandbox. It will mirror, I mean, whatever the applications are there in that production environment. So everything it will copy and it will store in that test environment. Okay, so everything it will copy and keep in this test environment. On top of these applications, they will customize. Okay, um, so since it is a test environment, these 3,000 users, they access only production. Right? They are not going to use this sandbox. So they have a freedom to deactivate those users, and they can create, suppose from Wipro side there are 6 members, right? They'll create credentials for all the six employees. Okay, they will create credentials for all the 6 employees. Everybody they will get access to that sandbox environment. This one you understood. I mean, you are understanding, right? So application will be only one application. Okay, everybody. So suppose here I am saying 3,000 users. Application is only one. User to user, that application won't change. Same application, but with 3 different user credentials, right? So all the users, based on their username and password, they will connect to that environment and use the application. There is only single application. So all the 3 users they will log into that environment and access. Okay, access that same application. But internally, so we can do many things, like we can control some users to avoid accessing some applications or some tables like that. Okay, those things are there, but everybody they will connect to same environment, but based on the permissions and all, accessibility for certain configuration, certain applications will be decided. So in detail we'll discuss all those things, but this is the basic thing. You have to understand this one. Only one application. Okay, but all the 3,000 users, everybody they will give, I mean, everybody they are having their different credentials, right? They will give the same credentials, but they will connect with the same environment. Suppose for example Gmail, right? So Gmail is an application. Suppose I am creating Gmail account, right? I will log in. So you are creating a Gmail account, you are logging in, but your environment is different, my environment is different. Completely, whatever the emails I see, that is different, and whatever the emails you see, those are different, right? But this application won't work like that. Okay, here in Salesforce, right? I mean, for this particular environment, Coca-Cola, they registered, they get one environment, they get a set of applications. So they will decide, they will create multiple users and they will give access to that application for those multiple users. Okay, they will see same, they will connect with the same environment. So whatever the data is there, same data they will access, but based on the permissions, accessibility will be different. So that one we have to understand. That is a basic thing. If you have any confusions, please let me know. I will try to explain. But this is a very basic thing. Here, if you confuse, and it will lead to many confusions. Okay. So everybody were able to understand, right? Only one application in one of the environment. All the 3,000 users, they will be having different usernames and passwords. They will connect with the same environment. They will get access to same data, same application, whatever we develop. But only the thing is, based on their permissions, accessibility will change. So that is the basic thing. And so since in production, so we should not work real time transactions are happening. From production they can create the sandboxes. These are the types. This team lead, he created one of the sandbox, dev sandbox. So in this sandbox, right, all the production copy, right, whatever the applications are there, whatever the data is there from production, everything will be copied. So for that, since here real users they are not going to use this sandbox, they will deactivate some production users and they will create credentials for all these Wipro employees. Okay, and they start working in this environment, right? So by analyzing these 20 requirements, they will start. working in this environment. Okay, so that is the process. And before continuing, right, so what are these types we have to understand? So what are that developer type, what is that developer pro type? These things we have to understand. So if you select while creating the sandbox, okay, if you select developer sandbox, what will happen? Okay, so suppose the team lead selected a developer sandbox type, right, to create this dev sandbox, right? So if you select that developer sandbox, what will happen, right? So it will copy all the configuration changes in the production, all the configuration things in the production. That means, so in production, I told applications are there, right? Built-in applications, sales, marketing, call center, all those applications, and the tables will be there, right? Tables means a table structure. How many columns are there? What are the data types? So that all those kind of things it will copy. Okay, that is configuration, right? Suppose, for example, there is one table, accounts table, right? There are many columns, okay, column names with the different data types, um, and the data is also there. Suppose there are 100 accounts, okay. So here configuration means only the table structure, not the data inside of that table. Okay, so only that structure it will copy, and data inside of that table it won't copy. Okay, so that one we have to understand, right? So it copy all the configuration, it won't copy the data. Okay, but right, so in sandbox, after making changes for some requirements, right, in order to test the application, right, whatever they are developing, whatever the functionalities they are developing, if we supply the sample data, then only we can test it, right? Without supplying the data we cannot test the application, right? So we need to provide the sample data. To store that sample data, Salesforce they are providing 200 MB space for this developer sandbox. Okay, so up to 200 MB of that sample data you can store in this developer sandbox. It includes um, files, right? You can it includes images, PDF documents, whatever the files you want to upload you can upload, and data, right? I mean data in the sense rows in a table, right? All those things. So overall they provide only 200 MB of the space. Okay, that one we have to understand. Okay, for this developer sandbox, only configuration changes it copy, real-time data it won't copy. But to test the application, to test whatever the functionality we are developing, we need to give some test data. For that, Salesforce they are providing 200 MB space. So in this you can give data as well as attachments like images, so PDF documents, notepad files, word documents, anything you can store. So overall size maximum limit is 200 MB. These things we have to understand. And one more thing, refresh time interval. So what is this refresh time interval? So here, this one we should know actually. So it will be somewhat confusing, right? So refresh time interval means, suppose production is there, we have sales, marketing, call center, default applications. Okay, in general, right, nowadays, if you take any projects, so they are releasing. I mean, they are not going to develop all the requirements at a time and deliver, right? So they are following one of the methodology called agile process. Agile process means, so whatever the requirements client is asking, they won't develop all those requirements at a time. They will release these things in phases wise. Suppose they want to release all these requirements, they want to deliver in 3 releases. Okay, suppose as part of the first release they are implementing 5 requirements. Okay, so they take those 5 requirements and they will work for those requirements in sandbox. So they will test it, they will do unit testing, and so they will separate a dedicated testing team, they will do the testing. So finally, if everything is working, they will those changes, whatever the 5 requirements they achieved, they will move to production, right? So in production, in live environment, this Coca-Cola company, they will get access to those functionalities, whatever the 5 requirements they achieved. So they will start using those functionalities. Okay. Meanwhile, parallelly, so they will Wipro company parallelly, so they work on those 15 requirements like that. Okay. And again, in the process of achieving the functionalities, for example, in first phase, they achieved 5 requirements, right? So in the sandbox, 6 members from the Wipro they are working. So suppose one of the person working on one of the requirement, one of the functionality, right? So while achieving the requirements, right, straightforward he cannot achieve that requirement, right? So to achieve that requirement, he will do lot of research and he will follow different approaches. Finally, so some approach, if he feel it is better approach, he will select that approach. And the remaining approach, for remaining approach, he might be changing some changes, right? He might be doing some changes. So all those changes he will revert back, and whatever he decided, only that approach changes he will keep, right? So he will do like that, but in this process there is a chance of forgetting to revert back to original configuration, whatever the original status of the application is there. Few things he might be forgetting, right? So like this, right, he work on many requirements. Suppose they worked for 2 months, and like that, there are 6 team members, right? They will also do the same thing. So after 2 months or 3 months, if you see, right, and again, they are working on those things, and so before deploying, right, they will maintain proper documentation, right? So while deploying, they will deploy proper changes only, because they will take all the precautions, they will maintain the documentation, they will get an idea, so what exact functionalities they have to move to production, right? So in production, they will move all the production, all the perfect changes whatever they are making. So in production, perfect changes are there and it is good. But in sandbox, so unnecessary changes also will be there. Lot of unnecessary changes. So I mean, they might be forgetting to revert back to original application, whatever it was, right? So after 2 months or 3 months, you will see lot of variations, right, when compared to that production as well as sandbox, right? So while achieving those remaining 15 requirements, there is a possibility of causing some problems, right? They assume that in production also, whatever the sandbox is there, it will be similar. And by assuming like that, if they develop, some conflicts will happen between production and sandbox. So that is the reason, in general, if you take any project, sorry, so if you take any project, so for every 2 months or 3 months, they will refresh in the sense, in the sandbox, whatever the changes are there. So apart from the production, suppose in production, those 3 applications as well as five requirements, whatever they achieved in first phase, all those requirements, everything will be there in this production, and they are using, and it is working fine. But here we have unnecessary changes. So for every 2 months and 3 months, what they will do, right? They will refresh. Refresh means what will happen, right? It will clear all these contents of this sandbox, and it will copy, it will take the, again it will copy from the production. So whatever the production content is there, that one it copy, and again it will place into sandbox. So whatever the production, in production, whatever the changes are not there, everything will be removed. In sandbox, it will clear everything, and again it will take copy from the production. So like that. So that is nothing but refresh. Okay. uh, we can refresh, if you create this developer type of sandbox, right? So we can refresh this sandbox once in a day. That means every 24 hours, if you refresh one time, immediately again you cannot refresh, right? You have to wait for 24 hours to refresh one more time, right? So that is nothing but this refresh time interval. Okay, once in one day. Okay, so once in one day, this one we have to understand. And again, few people they ask questions. suppose we achieve these 5 requirements and it is there in production, but so meanwhile we are working, suppose we are working for in second release we are working for suppose 10 requirements. So they are making, already they made few changes, suppose for 3 requirements they made changes, but they are refreshing. So what will happen? So whatever the changes for the three requirements, whatever the changes they made, everything will go off, right? So these things will be cleared. Then so it is a problem, right? To achieve those 3 requirements, they might be working for 3 weeks or 2 weeks like that, right? So the thing is, we can take the backup before refreshing. Okay, in general, whoever refresh, in general, admin people for production, they recruit some employees, right, to manage all those things. So one of the person, he will, whenever he try to refresh the sandbox, he will send emails to everyone, right, who are associated with the Coca-Cola Salesforce application. For everyone, he will send out one email, right, before 1 week or 2 weeks. And if everybody confirm, like, so they are taking backup and everybody they say like they are good, then they will do the refresh. Okay, so in between, so whatever the one week time is there, right, in between they will take the backup, right? So for these 3 new functionalities, whatever they are working, they can take the backup. So after refreshing, so again they will place those 3 functionalities, whatever they want, they will place it, and again they can continue working on that, right, like that. So like that, so that is refresh actually. So refresh time interval for this developer sandbox is once in one day. Okay, so this one we have to understand. Next, developer pro sandbox. At the time of creating the sandbox, suppose if you select developer pro sandbox, so what will happen? So all the configuration changes will be copied. All the configuration changes will be copied. Right. So, and apart from that, right, here in Developer Pro Sandbox, they provide more space. Okay, 1 GB. So up to 1 GB of the data they can use, and remaining things, right, is same. Refresh time interval once in one day. So everything is same. Only the difference between developer and the Developer Pro Sandbox is this space. There you get 200 MB, here 1 GB. Okay. Now partial data sandbox, it is somewhat different. Okay, so in partial data sandbox, it copy all the configuration changes, right? Whatever the application structure, table structure, all those things it copy. Apart from that, it will copy the real data also. Whatever the real-time transactions are there, right? In real time, whatever the accounts are there, whatever the contacts are there, whatever the opportunities are there. So all that data it will copy. Okay, real data up to certain extent, up to 5 GB. Okay, there is a limit. So up to 5 GB of the real data you can copy from the production. Okay, so while creating this sandbox, I mean, there will be some template kind of thing there, you can select so from which object you want data, so all those things, but the maximum limit is 5 GB. Okay, it includes attachments, everything, and I mean, that the real time whatever the transaction as it is, it will copy. Okay, so this one we have to understand. And again, refresh time interval, right? So here refresh time interval once in 5 days. Okay, once if you refresh, again we have to wait for 5 days to refresh one more time. Okay, we have to wait for 5 days. So these things are somewhat we have to remember. In certifications, Salesforce they provide many certifications. Okay, maybe if you want, after explaining this one, I will explain about all those things. Okay, so we have n number of certification, around 8 9 certifications are there. So in some certifications, we'll see these kind of questions. Right? What is developer pro, what is the usage, all these things. Okay. Yeah. So partial data like this it works once in 5 days. And next, full copy sandbox.
Uh,
Hello. Yeah. Any questions?
yeah, hello. Yes, sir. Like refresh time interval, that was the default one. We have to fix the refresh time intervals also simultaneously.
No, based on the type of sandbox you are selecting, so it will be fixed. That is maintaining
Mhm.
the Salesforce. So if you select a developer
Mhm.
sandbox, they give only 200 MB and refresh time interval only once in one day. That means once you refresh,
Okay.
again you cannot refresh for next to 24 hours.
Mm.
Okay, after 24 hours, if you want, you can refresh.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and again, so
That like particular time interval, that was the default one, right?
default one,
We can't change the time interval, right?
yeah, these are the limitations. Okay, suppose I want to refresh 5 times, right, within one day. It is not possible. Okay, limitation
Mhm.
is once you
Okay.
can
Okay.
refresh only one time in one day. So like that, they are enforcing one limitation.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, coming to the refresh time interval, it will be automatically refresh after 24 days, or
no,
the
no,
production person he has to refresh that.
yeah, we have to refresh manually. Okay, automatically it won't happen.
Okay, the refresh.
Refresh we
Okay,
have to
okay,
do.
okay,
That will be in our hands. Okay,
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, full copy sandbox. It copy all the configuration changes. Okay, and it copy real-time data also. There is no limitation. Suppose in real time, suppose there is 10 GB of data. Suppose in real time 300 GB of data is there. So everything it will copy. There is no limitation. This full copy sandbox is exact replica of the production. Replica in the sense mirror copy. So without any limitation, as it is, however production applications are there, whatever the data is there, everything it will copy and place in this environment. That is full copy. Okay. Configuration, real data without any limitation equal to production. Whatever the data is there, everything it will copy. Okay. But refresh time interval, right? Once in 29 days. Once you refresh this full copy sandbox until 29 days, again you cannot refresh. That is one of the limitation. Okay. So within 1 month, you can refresh only for one time. Again, if you want to refresh, again you have to wait for next to 29 days. So that is the limitation they are enforcing, and that refresh will be in our hands, right? So we can decide when we have to refresh. Okay. These are the types of sandboxes, right? So while creating the sandbox, they can select any type of the sandbox, and they will give the names, right? Names will be like dev, QA, UAT, like that. So that's what I want to explain. So now in this sandbox, right, they will do the development. Okay. So first development stage. Suppose as part of the first phase, right, in the developer sandbox, they achieved 5 requirements. So what they will do, right, after achieving, they will do unit testing. Whoever develops, right, that person will do unit testing. Whatever he is developing, so that is working as per the requirements or not. That person will test himself. That is nothing but unit testing. So after doing the unit testing, right, they maintain in some projects based on the client. Okay, suppose the client is not sound. Okay, small clients, they cannot invest more money. Okay, so in those situations what will happen, right, they will do unit testing and they will deploy to production, right. This will happen very rarely, but if the clients are very small clients, right, they have limited budget, so in those situations it will happen like that. Develop, do unit testing and deploy to production, right. But in general, I mean, we don't do like that. It's very client is very small client, we will do like that. But in general, on an average, what process we follow, that I will explain. Okay. First development, suppose they create one sandbox dev. In general, dev sandboxes will be like developer type or a developer pro type, otherwise partial data type. They create such kind of type as a developer sandbox. So all the developers they work in that and they do the unit testing. So after that, right, if you take medium clients, any range of clients, right, they create one more environment, one more sandbox with the name QA or something, right? So here, testing team, dedicated testing team, right? So suppose from Wipro side, they have a testing team. They tackle some employees, um, right? So the testing team they will do the testing. Okay, if they find any bugs, if they find any defects, right, they will raise those defects. Right, there are some bug tracking tools. Okay, so maybe in interviews and all, if you are new to software, so there are many tools like Jira, Quality Center. So there are different bug tracking tools are there. Okay, um, so with those tools, right, testing team, they will be very familiar with those tools, right, because their job is that one. They will raise bugs and so that they will assign to developers. These developers they have to fix those bugs and again they, after doing the unit testing, they will deploy to this environment, QA environment, and again those testers they will do the testing. If everything going fine, they will close that bug. Okay, so finally, after doing complete testing, after closing all the bugs, right, whatever raised by testing team, right, so then they will deploy to production. Okay, so if it is like a medium or a medium level of clients and all, their budget is medium level. Okay, and again some clients what they will do, right, they do the um, development. After that, QA dedicated testing team they will do the testing, and one more round of testing, user acceptance testing. Right, as a user, end user. So how that screen is behaving. So as a end user, if you are the employee of that Coca-Cola company, right, what they think, right? Sometimes clients they maintain their own testing team. Suppose Coca-Cola can maintain, they maintain IT department, right, who do testing, right, they have to satisfy. Some clients they maintain, but some clients they might not be having. Okay, if the clients are having their UAT team, testing team, so they will do the testing, right? So if they find any bugs, and again, so it will go to developers, they have to close it, and finally, so if everything is good, if the client is satisfied with the functionalities, it will go to production, right? A shortcut, in short, we call production. So like that, and again, based on the budget for the client, right? Some clients do, right, QA, after that UAT, right? So finally, they will decide the release date, right? Maybe 6 months. Suppose the release date is on October 17th somewhere. Okay, so before 2 months only, this these functionalities are ready. So what they will do, right? With along with the testing, everything is ready. They will maintain one more environment, the stage. Okay, so I mean they keep whatever the functionalities are ready, everything they will keep in that stage. So whenever the deployment date comes, right, go live date, we call that one as go live date. Whenever that date comes, they will deploy to production. So like that, right, and again before deploying, right, in between, before that, right, so what they will do, they will create some environments for training also. Suppose one of the brand new Salesforce application, or suppose 20 requirements, new requirements we are developing and deploying to production. So end users they have to train, right, to access how that application behaves, all those things. They provide training and all. For training also, they will create sandbox and they will give trainings before 1 week of that go live date and all. They will give the trainings, and finally, so once it deploys those end users, Coca-Cola end users means Coca-Cola employees. all those 3,000 users, they will start using those functionalities. So like that. So I mean, based on the project, you will see all these things. Okay. So this is the cycle actually. This is the development cycle, right? So in general, so like this we follow. Okay, and again, one more thing. Um, so there are two types of companies. Okay, service-based companies. Okay, and product-based companies. In general, service-based companies, right? So what they will do, right? So suppose Coca-Cola, that is a customer. For that Coca-Cola, they have 20 requirements. For that, one of the service-based company, Wipro is service-based, right? They achieve their requirements and they deliver those requirements. That's it. They will sign off. Okay, so that is their job. They do like that. But some companies, right? But on this 20 functionalities, whatever this Wipro company developed, so everything will be once that project is signed off, everything will be the property of Coca-Cola company, right? So Wipro, they won't be having any rights on those 20 functionalities, whatever they developed. With that sign off, it will end. But product-based companies, they don't do like that, right? They will be having some ideas. Okay, suppose for example, one of the company, right? They have an idea. Suppose pharmaceutical, they have knowledge on pharmaceutical industry. Okay, so they have an idea. So based on that idea, they develop applications on Salesforce. Okay, so um, so and again, those companies, right? They are not building those applications to consume that application, right? So they want to make that one as a product. So pharmaceutical companies, in general, pharmaceutical companies. So how the automated application will be? They will be having some ideas. Based on that idea, from Salesforce, these product-based companies, they will register as a partner with Salesforce. Partner means, they will take partner type of license from Salesforce, so that they will get some developer environments. Uh, I mean developer type of environments. So there they will develop the applications, right? So whatever the applications they are developing, so they are not developing to consume those applications. So their target is they will develop those applications and they will sell those applications to companies who are working for pharmaceutical. Okay, suppose take one of the product basis. Suppose you know Dell, right? Dell or suppose Philips. Philips is a healthcare company. Um, and again, suppose pharmaceutical. One company is there called Viva. Okay, Viva is a software company. They registered as a partner with Salesforce. Okay, so they have idea related to pharmaceutical industry. They developed one application related to pharmaceutical, right? So that application, right, full rights will be from Viva company. So what they will do, right? That product they will sell to companies in the market who are using that pharmaceutical based companies. Okay. So what they will do, right? Again, pharmaceutical companies. So they have to take license from this Viva, right? While giving the license, so basic Salesforce platform license they give, as well as suppose they don't want to maintain any other application. Straightforward, they want to maintain only this Viva application. Okay, suppose one of the pharmaceutical company, any pharmaceutical company, suppose some next company, right? So pharmaceutical company, so they want that Viva application. They approach Viva and so they take license from Viva. Indirectly, this Viva company, they provide, I mean, they give some amount to Salesforce because they developed that application on Salesforce, right? So money will be generated for this Viva as well as Salesforce, both. These companies, right, they will give license for n number of customers. They developed one Salesforce application on Salesforce platform. That one they will give licenses for number of customers. 10, 15, 20. So based on their marketing strategies. So there are two types of companies, okay, service based and product based. So these product based companies, right? So after making this, after developing these applications, right? So they will upload in one location called App Exchange. Okay, you know Android, right? If you are using Android mobile, right, you will see Play Store, Android Play Store. If you go to that Play Store, you will see Android applications. There will be many Android applications, right, which are of free of cost. Most of the applications free of cost. Some applications, if you see, right, are chargeable applications, right? So in the same fashion, so Salesforce, they are maintaining one thing called App Exchange. It is one of the website. So if you open your browser and go to that one, right, App Exchange. Okay, so this is a website maintaining by Salesforce. So whatever the products they developed, right? Suppose Viva, they developed one application. They will keep that application in this App Exchange. Okay, so they can provide that application for free of cost. Otherwise, they can charge it. There are two different types of applications: chargeable and so some applications free of cost. Okay, like that they can provide. Okay, so this is like a marketplace, right? They will keep their applications, and so any requirement, pharmaceutical application. Okay, so they will look into this App Exchange. Any relevant application is there or not? If it is there, they will take it and use it, because they need a quick solution. They cannot wait for 1 year, 2 years to develop the application, right? If something is available in App Exchange, they will use it. Salesforce also will recommend to use that one. Okay. Otherwise, they will develop by their own. Okay. So here, what are the applications you are seeing, right? All these applications, some product-based companies, some companies, they are uploaded into App Exchange, right? So Aptas, so it is very big product actually. Okay, powerful application. Aptas company. So in Salesforce, one of the functionality, configure price quote. That means, right, in general, if you are purchasing any product, for example, you are purchasing a laptop, right? There are some ready-made laptops, right? They maintain some models, and for those models, you will see like 4 GB i5 processor. So like that, if you like, you will purchase. Otherwise, you don't purchase. But one more kind, you can configure yourself, right? You want a laptop, you need a 10 GB RAM, right? 2 TB memory. You want i7 processor, right? You want a high-end graphic card. So you can assemble, right? You can ask for all those things, and finally they will assemble and queue one of the laptop. So such kind of for such kind of concept, Salesforce, they are not providing, I mean, um, such kind of process, Salesforce, they are not providing properly, right? So for that, this company, they have that idea, and they develop it, and so many people, they use this application. So like that, right, many applications are there. DocuSign, right, digital signatures and all. So DocuSign company, integration with Salesforce and all, so such kind of application. So all these are the things, and if it is a free, right, you can install it. So how to install? Simply, so you can open that application. You will see one link, get it, right? So you will be having an account in Salesforce if you register with Salesforce, right? Suppose if you are the employee of one company, so that company, they want this application. So get it and provide your credentials so that it will install into your environment. Okay. So like that you can install. So this one I want to explain. Okay. So these things, all these things we have to understand. So far, any questions? Are you able to follow any questions? So far you are good, right? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so all these things, I mean, basic idea we should have, we should know. Okay, and this one, and the next thing, right? If you start with any technology, first thing we have to know, is there any help forums are there? Help forums are there or not? Suppose you are working for Java, if you are working for .NET, suppose if you are working for some tool, right? So everything, I mean, so they maintain some forums, right? Suppose one of the tool, suppose informatica tool, there are many tools. Suppose if they are facing with some issues, there should be some platform where they can share their problems and get the solutions. So all those things, in Salesforce also they are providing Salesforce forums. Okay, sometimes, right, you have one question in our mind and nobody is there to help you, right? Straightforward, you can go to this Salesforce forums. Okay, here you can post, so whatever the question you are having, you can post that question here. Okay, so that somebody, they will give reply, right? They will give replies. If you post anything, so they will give reply, right? And again, so that person, if he likes your answer, he will mark it as a solution. Okay, for example, I am opening one. So one of the person posted, and the other persons, they provided solution. So whatever the one person replied. So this answer is helpful for this person, whoever posted, is marking that one as a solution. So that next time somebody, if you search for the same problem in Google, right, you will find this straightforward, you will come to this post, right? In Google links, it will display this one. You can come here, and so you can see this without wasting the time. So you can also, I mean, get benefited with this answer, right? So in such a way, so you can use this forum, right? Going forward also, if we are having any question in our mind, right? Even after searching in Google, also we are not able to find out. Go to this forum, post here, right? So somebody, so if they face the same kind of problem, and if they have some solution, right? They will provide solutions. You will be benefited with this. Okay, this one, Salesforce forums. This one we have to understand. And again, suppose you have an idea, and the Salesforce, you feel that if that idea Salesforce provides, it will be useful. Okay, few things, right? Salesforce, they won't provide, I mean, some features. If you feel that that feature Salesforce provides, it will be useful. Okay, if you have any ideas in our mind, to suggest to Salesforce, so there is one thing called Salesforce ideas. Okay, so you can post your ideas here. Okay, so if they suppose one of the person posted one idea, add most recent and first filter option in report. Some idea. This is not available in Salesforce. This feature is not available in Salesforce. So one person posted, right? Other persons, they are supporting. So other persons, they are also thinking the same. They also got the same idea. So they are recommending, right? So they are supporting that one. Okay. So finally, I told, right, Salesforce, they released 3 versions, right? So as part of this new versions, they consider those ideas also. If any idea got many votes, right? So they will consider that idea and they deliver that idea also. Okay, if they deliver, right, so they will display one message, idea has been delivered, like that. Okay, so keep in mind Salesforce. You can influence Salesforce by submitting an idea, and somebody support Salesforce. They will consider and develop that functionality for you. Okay, Salesforce ideas. That one we have to understand. Okay, App Exchange, Salesforce ideas, right? So all these things we have to understand. And one more thing, how to log into that production, right? You registered with Salesforce, right? So after that, how to log into Salesforce. If you want to log into Salesforce production environment, URL is login.salesforce.com. You have to go to this website and log in. Okay, you have to go to this website. So here you can give your username, password, and you can log in. Okay, this is the website. And suppose you want to log into Sandbox, any kind of Sandbox, right? Sandbox to Sandbox URL won't change. Any type of Sandbox, if you want to log in into Sandbox environment, URL is test.salesforce.com. These things we have to understand, because right, once you, after getting the job, right, the first thing you have to log into Salesforce to work, right? So in general, most of the times we work in Sandboxes, right? So at least you should know URL for Sandbox, test.salesforce.com. You can log in and you can start working, right? If they ask to log into production, this one, login.salesforce.com. What is happening, right? Many things, they are learning Salesforce, and so in these small things they are failing, right? So these things we have to keep in mind, right? If you join in a company, and if you don't know how to log into production or Sandbox, so it won't be good, right? So these kind of things, please remember. Okay, focus on these points more and remember these things. Production URL is login.salesforce.com. Sandbox URL is test.salesforce.com. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, now your voice is clear.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, finally, we discussed many things, right? Finally, so since we are not going to pay any money, but we should know how the Salesforce environment looks, what are the features Salesforce provide, how to create the applications, how to develop. So all those things we should know, right, before starting with Salesforce. So that is the reason Salesforce, they are providing on free environment, right? Um, I mean free accounts where we can register, and you can see how Salesforce application looks, right? So how we can develop all those things. So that one, developer edition. Okay, so for this URL is developer.force.com. Developer.salesforce.com. If you type it right in Google, you will find. Here you have to register, and very important thing is, right, please register here only, developer.salesforce.com. So it is free, right? No need to pay any amount, and lifetime it will be with you. Okay, lifetime it will be with you, but only the few limitations, like only 200 MB space they give, and the limited users we can create, only maximum 2 users with Salesforce license, and with different licenses you can create few more users. There are some limitations. Register here so that you will get account, and start working here. Okay, some people, right, they are opening this login.salesforce.com or some other location. In many Salesforce they are having many affiliated websites, right? So there somewhere they are clicking on try for free, login.salesforce.com or test.salesforce.com. They are opening and they are clicking on this try for free, and they are giving, and here they are creating. If you register here, right, it will be only 30 days free trial. After 30 days your account will be closed. I mean, if you are not registering, so you cannot log into your account. Okay, So don't register here, right? Suppose 30 days you might practice many things. After 30 days you will lose everything, right? Remember, just go to this website only, register here only. Okay, so tomorrow we will register with this, right? With this website, and after getting the account we start building the applications. Okay, from tomorrow we'll start creating the applications. Okay, but so before starting that, this is the background, all these things, so we should have idea about all these things, then only we can build the application. Okay, any questions so far? So any questions? Okay, what I will do, right? So this thing I will mail to you, right? Whatever I typed, I will mail to you. We will continue tomorrow, right? From tomorrow, everything will be practical. Okay. Um, any questions you can ask me. Okay, then we will continue tomorrow. Okay. Okay, then thanks.